listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. With your hosts, Anthony R. Destiny, Joe Ferrani, and Jerry Kenna. Interviewing entrepreneurs, business operators, and investors. This episode of Between Two Bridges is sponsored by Paymont Payroll. Payday is the most important day to your most important people, and payday is made easy at www.payyourpeople.com.
Alrighty, episode 33 of Between Two Bridges, co-host Anthony R. Destiny.
What's up, guys? Are we announcing ourselves again? Are we doing that? I'm Jerry Kenna.
Hi, Jerry.
Joseph Ferrani.
Just in case we have anybody new that doesn't know who we are.
33.
33.
33 episodes in.
Now.
Big 3-3.
Have we had a year yet? When was our first one?
Well, 52 would be a year.
There you go, buddy. Once a week. The accountant in the room setting us straight
to the show.
All right, well, heat wave here.
Oh my God, it's so freaking hot.
It's been hot.
Dude, the worst thing about this heat is these pop-up thunderstorms.
I love it.
We lived in Florida, and these one a day thunderstorms would be fine. We don't. We're in Pittsburgh. Knock it the fuck off.
Haven't had to water the grass though.
Yeah, we at my house specifically on Dorseyville Road, like the closest main road to my house, we got pounded. We had a tree come down, take high power lines down, blew a gas meter off a house.
Wow.
What?
It busted the gas meter. So there was like a little gas
leak.
Yeah, they have automatic shutoffs, I think now. But
like the tree?
The tree crushed it. And then we went 26 hours without power.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's still houses that are out. I just saw somebody post that they're waiting until, like, obviously we're recording this on Thursday, till Sunday.
Yeah.
Without power. So it's going to be over a week.
Yeah, we had to pivot. I mean, first 10 hours we were ready to like just weather the storm. And then I have a half a cow and a pig in my freezer.
Shit. What'd you do, bud?
So I went to shout out Sunbelt Rentals.
Hi, Sunbelt.
And rented a light tower that has a plug on the back and fired up the refrigerators. And we saved the meats. And I was getting ready to... They tell you tankless hot water heaters are like where it's at nowadays, but they don't tell you that when the power goes out, you don't have hot water.
Oh, really?
You got a tankless, bud?
Yeah, I went tankless.
Even a gas one?
Yeah, because there's the electronic valve in it to register the flow of water. So at least with your like a standard hot water heater, the pilot's lit and it just goes. But yeah, no hot water. Good thing it's summertime. Fast showers though. I mean,
take a cold shower.
Yeah, I'm not a big cold shower guy or a cold plunger like our boy here, Jer. So I was like, I did the hokey pokey shower. It was 1 foot in, wash it all out.
I would do the soap shampoo first.
Well, yeah, I just did one limit at a time.
Okay.
It was a non-efficiently cleaning method, but
jump in a cold plunge first. That water will feel warm.
No thanks.
Yeah, you know, I've been running my dry cleaning machine on city water, and apparently it's hot as shit. So the city water coming in is 76 and a half degrees.
Joe, is it true that cold water washing is the same as hot water for personal laundry?
Cold water is better, safer for your garments. You get less color bleed with cold water.
Yeah.
So like if you had to like run a mixed batch real quick, and you were like,
what about whites?
Whites, it depends on the fabric. But
cotton, like, Hanes.
Most daily stains will come out in cold water.
All right.
Yeah. It's more efficient. Like, cause like I said, if you have a pair of blue jeans and like a gray shirt that you're like kind of on the fence about, if you throw in cold water, you're fine.
Okay.
It's not going to bleed, but the hot water shrinks your fabrics and it's just not good for a lot of things.
Little tangent there. Sorry.
Yeah, no. The main thing is like,
we're just providing information.
Yeah, that's all.
I mean, yeah, I wanted to debunk that myth.
Yeah, one of the things I've learned in like our machines is we don't have like the old center post you know? Yeah. And a lot of times what people do is they just run the loads too long. And the actual mechanical action that people don't think about is the clothes falling on top of the clothes over and over again. Yeah. That's breaking down all the fibers in your clothes. So it's beating up your clothes.
So you don't need like a super long.
Yeah, I don't think, because if you take it out and it has a stain, then you can treat that stuff and put it in for a longer amount of time.
Huh.
Yeah.
So short cycle.
I short cycle everything.
Do you?
Yeah. We try to not beat up the clothes. We're trying to get them to look the best and last the longest.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants to buy a new shirt and wear it 3 times and then it's gone forever.
My favorite shirts I don't put in the washer.
Will you hose them down outside?
I do.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's hand wash, cold, hang to dry. We run into that sometimes.
Can't get the luck out of them, you know.
This dude's on. He won Q1. Now he's on a heater.
Yeah, it's been busy, man. 2 jobs at the same time.
Yes.
Can't share too much, but.
Well, I've had so many people leave my company. I feel like I'm doing 8 jobs at one time.
The magic of Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Yeah. Been a real hands-on business.
Yeah.
I thought about, remember like Home Alone where they had like the cutout behind the glass? I thought about making a statue of me like behind in the back of the cleaners just waving.
That home just sold.
Oh yeah, it's 5-7 million.
Something crazy.
Big money.
What is it?
The Home Alone house.
The Home Alone house.
Yeah.
Yeah. No Augusta Rule there.
Speaking of Augusta, Jerry.
U.S. Open's coming to town.
It is.
We are
just finished, actually. Joe, how'd it go? I know you watched.
It was epic.
I heard Rory cried.
Shit the bed is what he did.
I heard he cried.
Yeah, he
got on a jet.
Yeah, he whipped out of there. He probably should have.
He hasn't won in a long time.
10 years. He missed 2-3 putts in the last 4 holes of the U.S. Open.
My typical round.
Well, everybody can relate, but he just bitched out.
Did he choke?
He choked. 100% he choked.
So he hasn't won in a long time. Choked it away.
And DeChambeau's a live guy, right? And Rory's the face of the PGA.
Ah, there's that angle too.
Chambeau blasts one into the weeds on 18.
Yeah.
Then blasts one into the sand, right? He's in a trap in the front of the green that no one all week got up and down for par. And he got up and down for par to win the U.S. Open. And then he stayed on the grounds until like 9:30 at night signing autographs for every kid and human. And then went back to the house that he rented and celebrated with the people in the cul-de-sac with the U.S. Open trophy like a man of the people. So, and a little fact about DeChambeau, when he got his start, I think he played the 16 U.S. Open at Oakmont.
He's kind of a douche though, right?
Well, I think that's the perception.
Isn't Brooks the guy to like?
Well, I think DeChambeau was a douche at the beginning because he didn't know what it was like to be a star. And he's eccentric. The dude's a rocket scientist. He went to Georgia Tech,
He was like a nerd.
SMU. But yeah, he is a nerd. But I think what happened as he gets older, he realized I'm the man of the people. Like these are the fans, and that's what he does. And he 3D printed his own golf clubs. He won the U.S. Open with.
Was that allowed?
Really?
Yeah. He got him approved right before the...
Out of what?
Plastic?
I don't know if it was metal? Carbon or whatever. I mean, I guess you could 3D print the mold and then pour the metal, but a standard golf club face is flat, and his has a bubble in it. So he hits the ball straight.
Fucking cheating.
Yeah, like he's always been screwing with his
Canadian?
clubs. No, he's American. That was kind of the cool part. Like 25 years after Payne Stewart wins the U.S. Open at Pinehurst, he wins, takes his hat off. He had a button of the Pinehurst Payne Stewart on the back, and he was like, "That's for Payne," because like Payne was an SMU guy, and that's why he wore those goofy hats early in his career, because that's what Payne Stewart did.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Payne Stewart died
that day.
It was on the way to the PGA Tour Championship, which is now the FedEx Cup Championship.
Yeah.
He was flying from North Carolina to that and died in a plane crash. 42 years old. Crazy.
42.
Yeah. Just won the U.S. Open. Like.
And Jerry, you're staring 40 in the face here.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, a couple weeks. 2 weeks from today.
Where did you think you'd be at 40? You know, when you're
I don't know. I never really,
I don't know. Project.
Never really thought about it time-wise. Like, when I'm 40, I want to be.
Yeah.
I never really did that. I've never been like, I'm going to be retired by the time I'm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I see my financial statements. I'll be retired when it's all paid off, and that's 25 to 30 years. So.
Back to golf though. So the U.S. Open is coming to Oakmont in less than a year, right?
Yeah, we were on deck, and now we're on the plate. We're right there. It's exciting. We had Amanda Lee shout out on the show. She's probably starting production now, getting ready. I know there's been some newspaper articles that have been written. I know in the past some of the business owners in town have said bullshit that they didn't get what they thought they'd get from it. But it's exciting.
Yeah.
There's a pride level to the whole thing. I know that people, like, I always knew that Oakmont, when we were younger, Oakmont was Oakmont Country Club. And now it's Oakmont Bakery. But next year, it'll be Oakmont for Oakmont Country Club, which is actually in Plum.
Mr. Oakmont East.
If you must know, it's in Plum.
Is it really?
Yeah. Most of it is. The clubhouse.
The whole golf course is in Plum.
Yeah. The clubhouse is in Oakmont.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if the whole clubhouse is in Oakmont or if it's that first house that's in Oakmont. Oh,
really?
I would have to see it, but it's definitely
see where they pay school taxes.
Yeah, look it up. So it's good for the whole town. I mean, it's good for everybody. It's a great event. 375,000 people
will be flooding the area.
Yeah, and
need places to stay.
Yeah, what do you do if you want to stay if you want to stay somewhere?
There was a newspaper article that it's starting to get hot. People are starting to talk about renting their houses out, and that's happened in years past. Local people renting their house out. We've talked about the Augusta Rule a little bit. Most of the time, when the Augusta Rule comes up, it comes up in a way that is not really right.
Yeah. Do you want to debrief real quick? Reiterate what that's all about. So the
Augusta Rule, and I don't have the actual. It's the nickname's the Augusta Rule. There's actually a real term for the IRS, not the Augusta Rule. But basically, it says it allows somebody to rent out their home for up to 14 days a year, tax free. There's a misconception with the Augusta Rule, and people try to take advantage of it. Like, well, my corporation can rent my house from me for 14 days for a corporate event, and then I don't have to pay taxes on the amount. And I think that that's something, and we talked about that in previous episodes, that I think that that's something that, if you were to get audited, I think the IRS is going to think that is going to, I think it's going to get thrown out. I think you're going to have a hard time trying to prove the legitimate reason why your company needed to rent your home out. I think that it's still an arm's length transaction. You're renting it from yourself. It's a way that the IRS is going to see that you're basically just trying to shelter profits. And
but
it's going to be
next year we can just call it
Section 280A, Jerry.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Section 280A.
And next year we can just call it the Oakmont Rule.
Yeah, it's the Oakmont. It's the U.S. Open Rule. So basically, the idea of it and the adoption of it was based on the Masters, because in Augusta, Georgia, it's a small town similar to Oakmont. There's limited hotels. There's limited places for people to stay. And when the Masters comes to town, there's nowhere for people to live for that time period. So the IRS allowed Section 280A for people to be able to rent their homes out and collect that money as long as it's for less than 2 weeks per year. You don't have to claim that income. You don't have to report it at all. There's no limit to how much it can be.
So Uncle Sam can F off.
Yeah. There's
Allegheny County can F off.
Yeah, there's no tax.
Riverview.
Yeah, there's no property tax to it. There's no income tax to it. There's nothing. It's
nothing.
All yours.
It's all yours.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it's enticing, and I think a lot of people don't realize that if you do decide to rent your house out for the Open this year, if you live in Oakmont or any of the surrounding areas, that is actually tax-free money. So that's beneficial. Now, if for some reason your guest wants to stay longer than 14 days, that does trigger a taxable event. So I know that I've heard times before where if your guest is a corporate guest, like, American Express or some sort of media or something like that, and their stay is going to extend longer than 14 days, that is an issue. However, the way I would approach it is that I would probably, I would say that I would try to make it so that it would only be one day that I would pay the taxes on. So I would almost try to set it up as 2 separate leases.
Yeah.
A 14-day lease and then a 1-day lease.
Could you lease for $1?
For the extra day? Yeah, it's $30,001. I don't know. I mean,
we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you.
Here's the thing. Could you get away with it? Probably.
Should you?
Are you going to get it? Are you going to get audited? Probably not.
That's the good accountant you coming out like, yeah, I'll do it.
Consult your tax person.
Yeah, this is not professional.
If you're like really getting screwed and you need to just take a chance on not getting audited,
yeah,
we'll help you out. But if you're living good, we're not going to try.
So Jerry, let's say I live in Oakmont, Verona, Plum, and I'm interested.
Yeah.
What should I do?
It's early and we're still trying to prep here and trying to figure that out, navigate that.
But buy local.
Yeah, so I will, for full disclosure, there's a website out there where you can list it, and there was an article that put that website to light. I think there's going to be people that try to go toward like Airbnb and things like that. However, Airbnb is going to take a hefty piece.
What is Airbnb? 20%?
I don't even know what Airbnb is, but there's fees. They take a lot. Yeah. It's probably close to 20%. And then, but the thing is with that website and with Airbnb, you're doing all of it, right? So you're taking care of the guest, you're handling any of the calls, you're responsible. And from what and this is the part that we're trying to navigate is what all you have to do to prepare for your guests, like what all has to be out of the house, where,
Right. And one of the things that like I think about, the worst can happen, the best can happen. You rent a house to somebody. You're like, you know what? I'm going to rent my house. I'm going to go on vacation. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have done that in the past, I know. Well, now you're in Charleston, South Carolina, and the guy that's renting your house is like, well, the pipe burst.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a normal homeowner, you don't have anybody to fix said pipe burst. So now you're calling Roto-Rooter.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait. They rented this house for $35,000. Guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to dig up your whole yard for $29,700.
Yeah, exactly.
so
especially as busy as Oakmont's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be challenging.
There's a lot of money out there.
Yeah. As some of the people that listen know, I'm a part owner of Plum Creek Realty. We do property management for rental properties around the area. So we're kind of in a unique position here. So I'm looking at that as an opportunity that, we should get involved in this and provide an opportunity for homeowners in the local area to use us to manage this whole transaction. So stay tuned. It's still early. The way we're looking at this, just to kind of give you a little bit of a preview, because we have some experience with Airbnb and short-term rentals, is in order to be competitive, in order to attract a high-quality guest, is that I think that you need to do more than just provide a house with clean sheets.
Yeah.
You need a full accommodation package.
Well, it's just like anything in business. People think, well, I can cut grass.
Right.
So, but you know what? If you're just cutting grass, you can't charge what the big boys charge because you're just cutting grass.
Yeah. So what's going to set you apart? So that's what we're working on now, is trying to work deals with perhaps a moving company that's going to assist in getting all your stuff out. And when I say all your stuff, I mean your personal belongings, your clothes, your pictures of your family, your things that that need to be out of there.
Right.
In order for it to be considered a short-term rental. We're working deals with other local businesses to be able to provide accommodations to these guests, whether it be cleaning services, laundry services, things of that nature, while they're here, and for the homeowner, so that, maybe a cleaning service before and after. So that
they can just go. It's really enticing to make a lot of money, but the last thing you want to do is think you're making a lot of money and then have a lot of headache, a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, yeah, I made $5,000, but like that sucked.
Yeah. So in my conversations with people leading up to now that live in the area, their whole thing is, I would love to make that kind of money, but I don't want to deal with the headache.
Yeah, and your homeowner's insurance isn't going to cover a loss if somebody's like, you need to make sure all your eyes.
That's what we're working on.
Yeah,
now, is making sure
everything's covered.
All that stuff's covered, and what all needs to be done, and what we need to do in order to set you apart. And we're trying to get all that in a row so that we can offer to the homeowners a hassle-free way for them to rent their home. That obviously, if they rent their house for $30,000 for the week, they're not going to get $30,000. There's a cost to those things, but my thought is, if we can provide them with a service and say that, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to get you this money. It's going to be tax-free and hassle-free, and you're not going to have to worry about anything. You can legit take all that extra tax-free money and
this might be
go to Europe for a week.
Key West.
Yeah, this might be the one time in your life you can get hassle-free, tax-free money, and you don't have to cook meth.
Yeah, legally, legal, tax-free, hassle-free money. So that's what we're trying to provide that for the homeowner, but we're also trying to provide really nice accommodations for the people that are going to come into town. Whether it's for players or media or spectators or whatever, everybody that's coming in here. And what did we say last time they were in town?
16.
Yeah, but how many people? 375,000 people?
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think that's close to.
There are a lot of people that all of a sudden.
And that number might be shy. Look at the U.S. Open attendance this year.
Yeah.
That number might be shy. It could be 500,000 people.
Yeah, and this town, just for people that listen to us that don't live in Oakmont. Oakmont has what, 12,000 people that live in it?
Yeah,
11,000 people, something like that. So you're going to take a town that on every day has traffic and congestion with 10, 11, 12,000 residents, and you're going to put 500,000 people in this town. And then even still, obviously there's no hotels in Oakmont. There's hotels in Harmarville across the river. There's hotels, around the greater Pittsburgh area. But from what I understand, they're already booking up.
Yeah.
Well,
because the normal golf fan that wants to take part of it, is going to rent a hotel room, $125 a night, $300 a night. The golfer, it's a business trip. This is one of the things that blew my mind in 16 was the golfer doesn't stay in the biggest house in town. They kind of find something that fits them, that's private, that's giving them the time, because it's a business trip for them that they have to be at their best. So I always thought I wouldn't rent my house. And then when we were talking earlier, I'm like, dude, I live on a dead end street with no noise. And it's close proximity to 2 other major golf courses that allow these guys to practice. If you're on a business trip, you want to stay in the greatest golfer you know's house. My house is it. I'll leave my clubs in the driveway because you need them on Sunday to really
need a backup putter.
Yeah, no, it's a cool thing because they've created a loop, a 10-year loop of I think 6 or 7 different golf courses that are going to host this thing, and Oakmont's hosted more U.S. Opens than anyone.
Yeah,
and the history's there, and if you're a golf fan, and if you're a golfer in this area and you don't get a chance to play courses like that. So you might as well go walk it on a Thursday or Wednesday practice round. And if you've never been on the grounds of Oakmont Country Club, you get there and you feel it. It's just different.
Yeah.
People don't drop trash on the ground at a golf event. It's not the Kentucky Derby. They're not drinking beers in the fairways and making a mess. People respect it.
It's a different.
Yeah, it's different. Like the holy grail,
Yeah. So I think this is it's a good opportunity. If you own a home in the surrounding area and you're looking to take advantage of that, stay tuned. Listen to the podcast. Keep an eye on our website, the plumcreekrealty.com. There's going to be some updates on the website in the next
we'll shoot
week
some
or
more
two.
Reels too.
Yeah, we're going to shoot some more reels and get some updates.
We know our 13 listeners out there have short attention spans.
Yeah.
So we will shoot some reels to get it out there for you.
But we're going to get it out, and we're going to manage this for the property owners in town that don't want to deal with the hassle themselves, but would like to take advantage of some tax-free income and maybe go on a badass week-long vacation and get the hell out of this town.
Or just shack down with your in-laws and tell them, sorry about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
give them 5%.
What's cool too, and like I kind of like, I've always enjoyed the U.S. Open because it was Father's Day. My dad never really golfed, but he always made sure he tuned into the Sunday round of the U.S. Open, and it was just always cool growing up. And I found out that I was going to be a father the Saturday before the U.S. Open in Oakmont, and now this time around, my daughter will be 8, and I can go let her autograph Hound and see like it's crazy. Like
it's awesome.
It came up on my feed today 10 years ago. Is it 10? Yeah, 10. Holy shit. 9 years ago. 8 years ago. My math's all screwed up. That's why I have an accountant. There was a picture of me and Sarah, and we were like smiling in front of the entrance to the U.S. Open. And I wish the picture would have like a flip it over, read the back, because we were both scared shitless. So like I just found out like we were going to be parents. So, but yeah, it'll be cool. Be able to take the kids up, let them run around.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, it's unique. We're fortunate to be surrounded by it's a great community without the U.S. Open, but that's kind of cool.
And it's neat that they're going to come here. We're going to be on a national stage, and international.
Yeah. The golfers that the U.S. Open is unique because anybody can really try out to play in the U.S. Open. So they have these qualifying events all over the country, and you can go and they might have parameters nowadays. I think it's like a +4 handicap maybe you can try out. But if you win this tournament, if you play the best golf of your life, you could be teeing it up next to the best golfers in the world day one at the U.S. Open, that's what makes it cool, you know? Yeah. So, and they'll shoot 100.
Yeah.
And apparently they limit tickets now, but you can expect 250,000. Is
that it? Yeah. 250,000 people.
Yeah, but you got less than a year to go, people.
50,000.
So if you need your house fixed, give me a call. Give Jerry a call. Shameless plugs. Joe will clean your house.
I'm just thinking because they have the practice round tickets. So you get out, you can go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for the practice round.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday's the big day.
Right.
And if you want to see history made, get into this is a little insight. I mean, last time they had it, the 18th green, like the grandstand. If you got top row of that, you got to see 18 green. You got to see him tee off on 10, and you also got to see him putt on 9 because you could stand up and turn around and look. So it was the best vantage point.
Look at that.
We should just sell tickets there. Just block it off.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't notice.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool.
That'll last a half an hour.
See a lot from there. So,
yeah, so that's coming. I'm excited for that. I think, that's going to be a good opportunity.
Now that we're on the topic of golf, we got the 15th annual Schrader.
Oh, 15.
Rolling Fields Country Club.
When's
Murraysville,
that,
this Saturday. So, no, next Saturday, it'll be...
What's
you guys
the date?
Get me with this.
Get the date.
June 29th, Saturday after this airs.
29th.
Okay. You guys always trying to fact check me.
Yeah, I think it's quite clear we record these before. I mean, these aren't live.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We need a minute.
We got to 33 because
you don't want to hear them before
live.
they're ended.
Yeah.
So who won last year, Joe? Do you keep scores?
You know, those golf outings, charity golf outings, the winner is the one that has the balls to cheat the most.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So if you want to
38 under
false scores.
Yeah. What you want to do is you want to win the long drive. You want to win the closest to the pin. Those are the things that are legit. And the big one is you want
Are they legit?
Yeah, most of the time. Because guys,
nobody wants to cheat at that. Nobody.
Yeah.
That's
who wants to win a Raider koozie?
Game.
Cheat to win a Raiders koozie.
I mean,
for some reason, golf outings years ago, you'd win money. There was money on the line.
Maybe there should be money on the line.
You'd win $500 or $465 between four guys. But then people were like, you know what? You want to cheat? You get around the rolling fields. That's what you get. Like, here's a handshake and a attaboy. So it's
how many Raiders do you think will be there?
Right now we're sitting at 22 groups. So 88 guys.
Okay.
And we don't have any real outsiders. It's all.
Do you have to be a Raider to play?
No, you don't. No.
But that would be odd, right?
No, we had some groups.
Friends of
your friends of friends that are friends of yours. from the 10th Street corridor. They participated last year. They had such a good time. They were one of the first people to email us back and say, we're coming back, running back.
Run it back. Did they sign up?
Yep, they're in. So, yeah, there are some groups that aren't, but like the cool thing is a lot of the coaches are participating.
Yes.
From the team.
It's the team on the rebound if you haven't been following.
It is on the rebound.
They led the Whippeal in rushing last year.
Yeah, which is crazy.
The entire Whippeal.
How many kids are on that team?
30?
There was,
really?
Numbers are down. It's a cross-country school now, apparently. But, yeah.
I had this conversation recently with somebody, and it said, like, that when we were in school, there was that soccer.
I think they finished second
in what?
States.
Cross-country team? I bet, yeah. A lot of good athletes in that school. But we got on the topic of how when we were in school, the soccer program was coming. Mm-hmm. And I said, you could be mad at whoever you want to be mad at, but you got to understand, this was a grown man with a full-time job on the line that knew that once you had 2 sports in the same season, his job was getting a lot harder. Mm. So, yeah, he was a prick, but, or the head football coach and the athletic director.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, he did not want to not have kids succeed. It wasn't like he was like, I want you to fail at life, but they took it that way. He was just like, man, I got to watch out for my shit.
Yeah.
Because if I don't win, I lose my job.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a dynamic there. It's enjoyable, though. I mean, it
was a good time last year.
Yeah, it's a good day.
I remember.
A lot of Raiders.
Got fuzzy after the third hole.
Third hole? No, you were hitting some quality golf shots.
I can find a...
I was like, who's Sergio over here? Garcia throwing 7-iron darts.
Yeah.
So
sometimes.
I think
can't putt for shit.
That was when we were getting ready to disband the golf outing. I started to think about all the fun I had there. And it was like, there's not a fancy car to be won, or like, it's not at a high-end country club. It's, but it was just that day of like,
support a good cause.
Fun. You run into a bunch of old heads and bullshit, and it's good.
Young
good
heads
to get it out
now.
of your system. There's some
we're
young
not,
guys.
We're not the young ones anymore, Joe.
Fun fact, though, we will be the youngest guys there golfing.
Is that right?
Because the young kids haven't hit to the point where like they don't get it. They just it's not the golf part. They just don't get like what they got out of it yet.
Let's call them out. 2003 onward.
Yeah.
Do you golf, or do you just have to work it?
I'll golf. Yeah, I'm down. Like, I did a lot last year, and I still golfed, and I thought about not golfing, but the hell am I there for anyway? Because then it's like 5 hours of standing around, like standing there getting ready. But I realized that they don't come for like the prizes. They don't come for a lot of the board. It's just people come to get together,
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't want to see it go. Like, there's guys that have just chalked off. You've been doing it 15 years. It's a lot of time for anything to be running. And so that's why I kept it going for those guys. So I could probably raise more money, but we did. I mean, last year we gave $4,000 back to the football program.
Pretty damn good, Joe.
And we had a $500 scholarship from the alumni. So $4,500 golf outing raised last year.
Who won that scholarship?
Rocco Circe.
Nice.
Is that Circe? I don't know.
We'll get fact checked.
Dude, he was the starting quarterback.
I thought it was Cesare, but
Tina.
I just had E's and I's.
Yeah. So his dad was involved with us, and he was a good kid. Glad to get back,
For sure.
So there was a couple great people that applied for it, and I never thought that, to me, like, remember we lost the sense of money, like you lose it. To me, it's like, I want it to be a $10,000 scholarship. And I feel like, well, yeah, we gave $500, but every little bit helps, especially when you're that age and getting started out, so it's cool. We're glad to do it. 29th, we'll be there hanging out. Hopefully don't drink too many beers. I got a lot of work to do. So it'll be a calm one for me this year.
We'll see, Joe.
Yeah. I think you said that last year.
I never said that.
Last year I tapped out. I made it back to Oakmont, and I had my first beer at Vinny's Pub, which shout out to Vinny's Pub because we're coming back. Hopefully. Hopefully they're not carding us at the door this year. And I walked in there and they had some kind of Greek reunion going on, or one of our friends' brothers graduated med school or something.
Yeah.
And I was shaking hands and kissing babies, and I finished that first beer and I walked to Speedway and called my wife and was like, you need to come get me because I am going to make an ass out of myself tonight. So she came and got me. She came and got me. Plus I had I think it was $5,600 cash in my golf bag.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, let's not air that out.
Yeah, I'm like, I need to get out of here with this money, or I'm going to be on the hook financially and personally for this money.
And now a brief word from our sponsor.
This episode of Between Two Bridges is sponsored by Paymark Payroll. Are you tired of spending countless hours juggling payroll calculations, tax filings, and compliance regulations? Well, say goodbye to that chore and let Paymark Payroll take the burden off your shoulders. With our secure online portal, you can access your business information from any internet location, even your phone. Employees will love the ability to receive direct deposits, and they can access all their pay stubs, tax forms, and information through their own portal. Focus on growing your business while we take care of the rest. With top-notch customer support, we're always here to assist you with anything, at any time. Don't let payroll stress hold you back. Choose Paymark Payroll and experience the freedom to thrive. Contact us at payyourpeople.com for a personalized consultation and a demonstration of our powerful payroll solutions, and see how Paymark Payroll can better your workflow. That's payyourpeople.com. Join the growing list of satisfied businesses that have embraced the convenience and efficiency of Paymark. Payday made easy. Your business deserves nothing less than the best, and that's exactly what Paymark Payroll delivers. Now back to the show.
What else happened? Father's Day. Jerry, what'd you do? Saw you driving around, right?
Yeah, we did.
We did
a couple car shows. Took the Corvette out. Did the car show in Oakmont. Oakmont does the Lions Club does a Father's Day car show every year down at the park. Nice. It was pretty busy this year. It was hot as shit.
Was it you just you and Vinny cruising?
No. We all four of us went. So Amber had to follow behind in the Audi, and the kids just alternated who was in the Corvette. And but we did that. We did the Oakmont one, and then we left there, went up to Hart's Run.
It's funny because when I saw you were there, I saw it too late. I was going to come over.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't stay very long. We did. It was just too goddamn hot.
It was hot.
It just got to a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm over this. And then we went to my wife's house.
Did you have the nicest car?
House. No. There was some beautiful stuff there.
Okay.
Just because it's new doesn't mean it's nice.
I was just asking.
I was surprised. It's, I've owned, this is the third.
What was there that was better? I mean,
it's just different stuff. I mean,
okay.
Like my car, I love my car, and it's a nice car. It's amazing. It's like something I wanted since I was little. Yeah. But it's it's a Corvette with a set of wheels on it. Some aftermarket parts, nothing crazy. I mean, there's stuff there that guys like spent their life restoring and like ground up. And I mean, there's stuff that people dedicated their lives to put back together. So it's tough to compare, but I was surprised. So this is the third car, like nice car that I've owned as far as like a toy, right?
Yeah.
I had a 03 Corvette Z06.
Nice.
I have an 18 Camaro Super Sport, and I have this Corvette. And the amount of attention that this Corvette gets is mind blowing. I mean, and it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking like, there's cars here that literally people had like ground up restorations, like body off the frame, like every single nut and bolt was replaced or refinished, and then there's people coming over and like falling over themselves over this car and like talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, you can buy one of these. Like they just come like this. This guy had to spend.
You have to wait 2 years?
It was like that when I ordered mine, right. But now you can. I mean, there's a lot of dealers that are actually sitting on an inventory because they caught up with production and
getting some changes coming.
Joe, what are you doing tomorrow?
This economy is
not going to buy a Corvette. It's hard to move equipment in a Corvette.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to pick up groceries sometimes.
Trailer package.
It's got a ton of torque.
Yeah, it'll tow.
It'll tow.
But it's funny. I mean,
are there towing specs?
No. But it's funny. Like I'll stop at a red light. People will pull up next to me and talk to you.
If I see
gas stations, it's nuts.
If I see a white Corvette, I'm looking for a different license plate on it just to see if it's you.
Yeah,
I saw a gray one today. Whipping, looked good.
Yeah, I haven't really been driving it much this week because even though they're saying
you put it on a field, man. You have to
it's all right. It's got front end lift, buddy.
But I'm saying your tires get a little dirty.
I don't give a shit about that. It's a car.
Yeah,
it washes off.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about whenever you say you could buy a new one. You know, you wreck out and you just order a new one.
Say cruised around. What else did you do? Did you got to eat?
Went to my in-laws. Had dinner with my in-laws. So I saw my wife's dad, and my dad was out of town for the weekend, so he spent his Father's Day away from his kids.
Yeah,
loved it.
Yeah,
best Father's Day yet.
But no, his birthday was the week before, and he wanted to go see a Red Sox game at Fenway. So he and my mom went to Boston and went and saw a Red Sox game at Fenway Park. So
I was wondering why he had all that Boston T-shirts.
So that's what he did. He went to Boston and got to go to Fenway. So so that was my Father's Day. It was a good time.
Good. How about you? I went camping in my backyard with my
that's awesome.
S'mores, and then I got some gifts in the morning. Nice breakfast.
He stay outside all night?
He did. He got up at 5:30 though. I don't know if he was cold or what.
I heard the rooster crow.
Yeah, no, it was great. One trade for the world.
That was sweet.
Yeah, we without having power, I joked. I said, we might have to camp out at the new building. And that night, our power came back on. I was kind of disappointed because I always thought that'd be a cool memory. Like before all the equipment got in there, we just camped out. But
staying in mattress down,
empty house.
There'll be plenty of memories made in that building.
How is the building coming, Joe?
It's good, man. We made some progress. We got the chiller off of the old building and into the new building, or outside of the new building. We got water lines. Working on that. I've taken the approach where I'm gonna keep going and just. If the drawings don't match, I'll change it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's all I can do at this point. I'm running out of time. So we were supposed to be pressing shirts there on the 29th. And
yeah, that was the date you set.
Yeah.
Right?
I was hoping to be moved in by the 28th, have a good time at the golf outing on the 29th, and start my new life. Well, I will.
Projects always take longer.
Yeah. It's funny too, because this heat is killing me with working in the dry cleaners.
Yeah.
We're like 110 degrees in the cleaners. So
it's not air conditioned.
You do 7 or 8 hours in there, and then
sweat off some lBs.
Yeah, I did 3 hours at the building last night, and I'm like, I felt like I was gonna get so much more done, but I just got to keep taking, like you said last episode, just keep taking the small wins,
Yeah.
So we're getting there.
Yeah.
Big day today. We got a boiler came in the truck, and
from where? Where do you get a boiler at?
I think they're in Rochester, New York.
It's like Craigslist, or
so,
how do you find that?
Bank finally came through. I got the loan for the brand new Fulton boiler.
Oh.
So it was
what kind of terms do you get? Let's talk a little business credit.
I don't think terms were that bad. I mean, and I forget.
You don't have to give specs, but
yeah, it's a 5-year loan.
Okay.
So I think payment's like $349 a month.
All right.
The good news is I have a boiler now that's in really good shape that I could probably sell for $10,000-$12,000.
The one at the old location.
Yeah, it's just too hard to try to do it all at once. So if I can move like the shirt department down there and get it up and running, then I can move the rest. It kind of like breaks it up a little bit. So that's the goal. And with my big thing is the drains that I'm having problems with. So maybe I'll just wash shirts on McKnight, press them, and
yeah, I think you should just run a pipe out to the street.
Yeah.
Let it drain out of the street.
You need a concrete saw, Joe?
What's that?
Need a concrete saw?
I got a grinder.
Like a little
I rented
grinder?
a concrete saw. It was electric. It was pretty slick. Because if you're in a small space with like a gas-powered partner saw,
yeah,
That's that carbon monoxide.
Yeah, that carbon monoxide gets you.
It will get you.
So, but yeah, we're plugging away on that. I'm looking forward to every day. I just need to keep getting those small wins every day. Like today, I was there, took delivery of the boiler, swept the floor. It's like, all right, well,
it's a win.
It's a win. Don't need to do it tomorrow. So we'll get there. My Father's Day was great. Saturday night I got to go to a rock show at a friend's house in the barn in the field.
Who'd you see?
It was called the Alt Rocks, and they played 90s alternative rock.
Oh, that's cool.
What'd they close with? What'd they open
Buddy,
with?
we were doing keg stands at 9:30. I think they opened with In My Head by Alice in Chains.
In My Head.
Instead of Rob Zombie or something. I don't know.
Okay.
He doesn't remember much.
I've been to 100 concerts, and like I blank when it comes to the actual shows. Well, probably even more, but like country concerts and shows over the year. But like the only one I remember is
here it comes.
Toby Keith played Proud to Be an American at Burgestown.
R.I.P.
And there was a flyover.
He did die.
Really?
Dude, and it was epic.
Did he pay for that?
And I think it was like Southwest just got a little too close at the right time.
It wasn't a B-52.
But like I remember there was like we were younger, and I remember like the phone conversations were like, did Toby Keith have a fucking flyover? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe it was US Airways just like giving him a little. But yeah, it was a cool moment in time. But yeah, they played. It was great. They had a violin opener. I made him play the national anthem because I feel like everything should start with the national anthem anyway.
It should.
So he played Jimi Hendrix like rendition on the violin of the national anthem. Wow. That was pretty badass. Beer pong was played. Haven't played that in 15, 20 years.
How'd you shoot, Tex?
I played great.
Okay.
I made 5 out of the 6 cups. My partner, Sarah, not so much. She took the old college tribe, just standing there looking pretty.
All right. Well, sometimes.
And it was a good time. And then Saturday, we kind of just hung out, and I had this itch that I wanted a Blackstone. What better day to go buy something for yourself than Father's Day?
Yeah, I got the random text. I'm looking at a Blackstone. Which one do you have?
Well, I was thinking like getting the small one because like I'm like I just need something, and then I'm thinking no, like the point of this is to like hibachi.
Well, the thing with the big one, and I didn't even really get into it with you on the text, but the big one has the 4 burners, so you can have 4 different heat zones. So if you're making, because like if you're making eggs for breakfast and bacon, the bacon you have to cook at a higher temperature, and eggs you'll burn the shit out of your eggs if you cook it that hot. So you can have one side, like when I make breakfast, I'll have one side off, but the residual heat, it's propane. Yeah. Okay. So the residual heat's enough to heat that part of the griddle up enough to cook the eggs. So that extra burner is key. So the 36 is the way to go.
The side tables are nice. You got to watch though, because anything you set on the side tables will get hot.
Yeah.
And we did pancakes. Father's Day traditionally is steaks. My father-in-law.
That breakfast just hits different.
Yeah. My father-in-law was traveling. He was out of town. My stepdad was doing some other things. And so no steaks were necessary. And my son doesn't eat everything. He's a very picky eater.
Imagine that.
So I asked him, I said, what about pancakes? And he was like, you can cook pancakes on there? I was like, yeah. So we made pancakes. We had pancakes and
I'm on like day 72 making chicken nuggets. Yeah. So many fucking once.
Dude, it's funny because my daughter ate chicken nuggets.
No.
Didn't have a problem. And now she won't eat chicken nuggets unless they're from McDonald's.
Really?
And my son's a 2 cheeseburger Burger King guy. I'm like, I'm trying to explain him the double cheeseburger theory. Like, dude, if you just get 1 double cheeseburger, because like he deconstructs it.
He doesn't
and like licks the shit off of it. And like, it's whatever. Kids will be kids. I try not to be. I sometimes am too hard on my kids because I have these high expectations, and I'm like, you never hear these stories about Einstein licking the ketchup off of the cheeseburger as a kid.
Sure did,
but he probably did.
I think we all do that. I find myself like worrying so much about the kids doing certain things, and sometimes my wife's like,
they're kids.
They're fine.
Yeah. I like it too that my son has started to find like he likes to pee outside. So there's been times where he'll get up off of the couch playing on his iPad and walk out the garage door. And I'm like, that's the ultimate, just being a kid.
Right.
Because like that, I like that. I just am not allowed.
It's called indecent exposure.
Yeah.
Lewd and lascivious behavior. You get it on a list when you're our age.
Yeah, it stays there forever.
You go online. That's a website you don't want to be on.
Then you really can't deliver dry cleaning with a mustache and a white van.
Oh, no. I don't think you're allowed to even own a white van at that point.
I wonder how that goes over, like when you're trying to expand your delivery route. If you're like, hi, Miss Jones. This is Joe with Doro Cleaners. I hear you're interested in delivery service. First question for you. How close do you live to the nearest school? I'm sorry, Miss Jones. We can't service you today.
You're outside our delivery area. Can you meet us at the corner?
Right.
I'll drop your shit off a block away. You just walk out and pick it up.
That's funny. Yeah. Not funny, but funny.
So I bought a shit ton of lockers.
Shit ton.
Yeah, like 50 lockers.
Dry cleaning lockers.
And it's like one of those things where you're like, I'm going to find time and I'm going to implement this into my business. And then it just hasn't happened. I mean, it will. I think the hardest part was acquiring the lockers, and that's done and paid for. So like I'm ahead of the game on that.
They're just sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought, man, I really hope this like business didn't just like sell me all these lockers. And then like when it comes time to like, so the dude called me today out of the blue, and I was like, man, that made me feel really, really good. Because it wasn't a cheap investment, but it was an investment. So to be determined on how we go with those, but maybe we'll just put them on every intersection in Oakmont during the open. Just let people go nuts.
Dude, I think
what's that?
I have a client that owns apartment buildings. I think I ought to call him and see if he wants to put some lockers in his lobbies and shit.
Yeah, what's cool about that is there's no extra effort on anyone's part. Like if the customer uses them, I get a message saying they're full. So if they're vacant, I don't have to worry about servicing them. You don't have to like. It's not like the old days where you're like, hopefully there's some money in here. Empty. That's gone. But yeah, that's a big part of our new structure is the lockers. So looking forward to it.
How many lockers do you have?
So I have 50 units, which actually equates to 100 lockers because there's 2 for each.
So you can put it in 50 locations, 2 lockers in each location?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
So, theoretically, yeah.
Anybody can drop off clothes?
Yeah, there's a QR code, scan it, register your account, put it on. As soon as it's back, you get a message. So it's slick. I mean,
you don't have to go to a dry cleaner.
No.
Do they have to be indoors?
No. They have to have an overhang. I wouldn't, because they have to be vented for heat and you don't want stuff smelling. So they're vented. So if they're out like in the middle of the room or outdoor on a patio or something, the water would get in. But
okay, so they have to be undercover.
Undercover, yeah. So yeah, I have some people that are like really excited about them. It's just about getting my headspace ready to pull the trigger and do it. Because you like, a lot of people rush to market with stuff and then it's fucked. And they not only that, they ruin it for everybody. Because the first guy that comes to market with a shitty, like a good idea with a shitty concept or a proven way to finish the end game of it, and then they just defunk it for everybody. So they'll be like, dude, I tried that one time.
But the last thing you want is to talk about it on a podcast and give some other asshole the idea to go buy 100 lockers and then beat you to the market.
Well, that's because my game plan is to be in use in the next 3 months, and it took me 8 months to get them. So fuck them.
Yeah, so good luck.
Come on, get.
Come and get. Cherry, what's new?
Well, I guess it's as good a time as any to make the announcement that we are likely moving the office this year. I haven't reached out to most of my clients, so anybody that's listening to this is probably like, what the fuck?
Don't worry, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. We're not going that far.
Nashville.
Yeah, it's only in Ohio.
We'll have to catch a
flight. Just kidding. I'm not going to announce the area yet, but it's close.
Local.
Yep. Yeah, it's local. It's not in the Oakmont, Verona area, but it's local. We worked a really good deal with a gentleman that it's a building that I drove by hundreds of times and probably said to my wife 4 dozen times, that would be a great building for my business. And it's never been for sale, but there's always a for lease sign in front of it. And it always looks empty. And but it's a great location, and it's a really nice building. And the nice thing about my building and this property really made that crystal clear is that I don't need to be in a core business district, in a walking district. We don't get walk-in business. Nobody's walking by.
I got all these receipts.
Yeah, nobody's walking by. Like, I just happen to have
I forgot to do my payroll. I'll just pop in here.
Can you help me with an audit? Just strolling down the street thinking.
Yeah, anybody that comes here is coming here with a purpose.
Yeah.
So it's not in a core business district, but it is on a very highly traveled road.
You're probably better off in your industry too, not being on a bus line.
Yeah. But we were able to work a deal that we're purchasing the property.
Nice.
And so my goal when I moved here was to buy. Yeah. It didn't work out, and everything happened.
Gotta pivot.
And everything happens for a reason. Anybody that's been to my office knows there's a big warehouse next to us here. It's part of the same parcel, and it's something that I just don't want to deal with. I'm at, we talk all the time, and Mara brought it up, 30s for learning, 40s for earning, right? Yep. So I'm turning 40 in a couple weeks, and I'm looking at things differently and deciding what's worth my time and risk and liability and stress. And a 45,000 square foot warehouse that needs some work and some love is not worth my stress. And the whole thing, it's like, I own rental properties. I own a property management company. I live that life. But if you own a residential rental property and something big happens, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars. Something big happens in a 45,000 square foot warehouse, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Mm. Yeah. I don't want that liability around me, and I don't want a boat anchor that could potentially drown me.
Yeah,
and I just
don't caves in and
I don't want to deal with it. So, so I've been kind of looking, and I drove by that building again, and I thought, I wonder if I can figure out who owns it.
Yeah.
So I Googled it. And I found
Allegheny County told you where the tax bill goes.
Yeah, and I found the rental listing, and it had a phone number on it. And I thought, I'm gonna call this guy, and I did, and I ended up getting forwarded to his cell phone. And I told him what I wanted to do, and he's like, buy it or lease it. And I told him I want to buy it. And we talked, and I'm not gonna talk too much about the deal on here, and certainly not right now. But we came to a something that an agreement that's going to work really well for both of us. And I think it's going to be a really, really great location for us. So there's a little bit of work that we're going to do inside the property that before we can move in. So we're
just painting carpet,
typical stuff.
Yeah,
just basically making it our own little stuff.
Nothing that you're going to have to rezone or permit for.
No, nothing like that.
New ceiling tiles and
just
cover plates.
Moving our stuff in, just kind of freshening it up. Right. And
making it into the sewer, like installing industrial boilers. Right?
Thankfully, we're not going to need architects or engineers for what we're doing. It's already an office building, so we don't need to do any sort of change of use. And but the nice thing is it's about 1,100 square foot bigger than where we're at now.
No.
There's a conference room and an extra room that we could use as a podcast studio.
Oh,
so keep listening, because we're going to need you to listen.
Yeah, so we're going to have a dedicated podcast studio that will, so it'll be nice whenever I have clients come in to the conference room, they're not going to be like, are these cameras on?
Who are those guys?
Hey, what's all the microphones about?
Why does Joe have his shirt off?
There was a flood. I mean, that's the main reason he's moving, because the damn place was flooding.
No, and I actually had the owner of this property call me and like, hey, that's not why, we're trying to work. I'm like, no, this has been something I want to buy. I want to own it. I don't want to rent anymore. I want to own where I'm at, and I don't want to keep moving. So this was the move, and it's going to work out really well for us. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's awesome.
So if you're a client and you're listening and you're like, well, now what? You're going to be getting plenty of communication over the next several months. We will be in there before tax season. So tax season will not be here next year.
Nice.
It will be at the new location.
My landlord put a for rent sign on my window the other day.
Did he?
Yeah, which was good because I think sometimes what you're talking about now with your clients, you're apprehensive because you don't know how some people just don't expect change at all.
Right.
And they just melt down. But it's kind of made me have some conversations with people that I wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
And in fact, the fact that there have been customers of mine for 6 years and I tell them like, I'm doing this to survive, they get it. You know, people aren't stupid.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited for you, man.
It's going to be really nice.
I can't wait till you divvy up the actual location. I have certain feelings about that. I love the location. Nothing bad. All good. But to be determined. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a good move. It's just, I agree. I think there might be some people that are like, what? But,
I think in anything you decide in life, there's always going to be naysayers.
Yeah.
And I think the people that your clients that don't come with you are probably naysayers. Like, he's crazy. He's moving all the way over there. It's crazy. But
when you say all the way over there,
it's 7 miles from here.
Yeah, it's 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So like, but you have
and
people.
Most of your people are coming
from there
3-4 minutes to here. Yeah. So it's 9 minutes from there.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's not going to be a big difference for really anybody, but I have those conversations. Like I have clients that come from, I literally have clients, like we're in Oakmont, Verona area. I have clients that come from Washington, PA, Canonsburg. I have a client that is a dedicated listener that is listening right now. Guarantee you he's listening right now. That comes from with the rest of his family, makes an appointment, and they come from the other side of the state. Like,
boom.
And they all drive in several hours for a tax appointment every year.
It's awesome.
And wouldn't have it any other way. I didn't know your brother
lived in Philly.
And wouldn't have it any other way. And he's a dedicated listener and tax client. And
shout out.
And I appreciate all that loyalty. And
it's
to
humbling.
Anybody that's going to be a naysayer and give me a hard time about it, it's not anybody that comes any distance to me. It's going to be the people that live 30 seconds from my office.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, I have to drive 12 minutes now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've got clients that drive 4 hours to come see me.
Yeah. I'm at a point now where like
Valley Street people are going to be pissed.
They're like, can you file my 2013 tax return, Jared? I walked all the way here from Valley Street.
Yeah. And my monthly clients, like I have, I do clients, obviously I do bookkeeping and payroll. And I've had conversations with a handful of people that come pick up payroll every week. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to be moving and here's where I'm going. If we need to work something out where I meet you, I understand. And they're all like, I don't mind driving there. It's right up the street. What's the difference?
You could just hand them a stack of checks like you handed me and they can print them themselves.
Yeah.
I think that the nice thing about losing clients, especially clients that you're not worried about, is that you get to like kind of, if you back off a little bit, even though the revenue goes down, right? You lose a little bit of revenue, but we're not this long in the business and like have been doing these things that long that we don't understand how to make more business.
Right.
But I've lost some employees recently. I'm going to lose some customers, people that I probably really enjoy seeing on the regular. They're just not going to figure out the new way we're going to do business. And it's not that I don't appreciate the work that my employees have done or appreciate the revenue that my customers have brought. It's just that this thing has spiraled out of control for me.
Yeah.
That it has become like, I can't take Friday off to go to a dentist appointment. I can't, if I take a Monday off to go do something, and my wife will tell you it's mostly golf outings on Monday.
Yeah.
But if I do that Sunday, I spend the day at the cleaners to make sure things are right, especially without having the staff. So to me, it's like, let's just tear it all down at this point.
Yeah, we can put it back together.
Yeah, because I know starting next week without having that one presser and the following week losing a driver, I know that there's going to be a lot of 13, 14-hour days in it for me. And that's fine. But I don't want to chase the wrong customer to add to that 13th hour. I want it to be the right customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I'll be able to tell the customers that I love that are at the counter. Be like, look, I understand that I'm leaving you, but like I'm a phone call away.
Right.
And I'm there.
and we come to you.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't anticipate that I'll lose anybody, to be honest with you, because there might be a very, very small handful, and I'm talking maybe out of tax season where we do, 4 figures of tax returns, right? Maybe a dozen people.
Yeah.
But honestly, we lose that many people anyway to just churn. But let's also not forget that I would bet that there's probably 10 or 15,000 cars a day that drive past that building.
Right.
So, and there's a lot of development going on out there. There's a lot of homes out there. So there's new customers out there too that are all of a sudden are going to see a new lit up sign on a building that are going to go, oh, they do taxes. What's that about? We have a very, very good reputation online, social media, Google, as far as reviews and things like that.
And that's what we talk about, my rebranding. And that's kind of because people, I've had the conversation with customers that are like, wait, what are you doing? Like, we deliver. They're like, you deliver? I'm like, yeah, that's what all the vans are in the parking lot for. That's like what the sign that says free pickup and delivery, that's what that all means.
That's what that means.
Yeah. So I think people are like creatures of habit, but they're also willing to do what's best for them to survive and like get their services provided to them. So if they need to drive a little bit more because they know, because that's like we talked about before, barbers. There are people you got to be comfortable with. Your accountants definitely want them.
100%.
Trust is an issue in business, and if they trust you, they're follow. And not what's weird is when I bought other dry cleaners and converted their customers to home delivery, it wasn't about me. They trusted me because the guy that I bought the business from is someone they trusted. So it's like a trust circle, like what was that? Meet the Fockers. You're in the circle.
You're in the circle.
So that's important to me. But yeah, I'm at the point now where like we've talked about it. Like we don't want to go to broke. I'm fortunate that I have other revenue streams bringing money in, but the dry cleaners has become a beast that you could kill yourself in it. Like you literally, especially this week, you could literally kill yourself in it. So I'm responsible enough to know that I need to be a human first. And if the dry cleaners has to take a dip, and I mean, I'm willing to lose half of the revenue to do what we're doing and not even like in my brain, it's just gone. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at other things that create revenue that isn't the dry cleaners. Because all the people I know in the dry cleaning business that have been successful and made it out alive, they've had other streams, like guys have bought rental properties or multi-use commercial properties.
You can't own it's what we talked about last week, the self-employed versus the business owner. You own a job.
Yeah. And it's a young man's game.
You got to convert your job into a business that can operate without you staring down the barrel of that gun every day.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to take a step back, retract a little bit, build a better system, a better process, which includes losing the front counter, going to home delivery only, something that's easier to manage, and then rebuild it off of that. And I really do firmly believe, and we've talked about this off air, with dry cleaning and the other things that we've been talking about off air that are definitely not ready for public consumption, your revenue will be
equal to, if not
greater, probably much greater, with way less actual intense labor. Need you
more control.
Hell yes.
You know, when you take back control, you give your employees a little bit of control to organize the chaos. Everybody has a better life. And I think what I'm fortunate and the thing that I've realized recently is, you know, I can afford to lose the money because I won't lose my family in the process. Yeah. Where you see a lot of guys I know a lot of guys in my business that have like either failed completely, they're closed, or they've to the moon and they've burnt friendships, relationships, family,
lives.
I know a guy that was completely burnt out, like walked himself into a psych ward. Like, I can't do this anymore. So it's one of those things where
we've had those days.
Yeah, we had him, but I've decided at 40 that now's the time to keep the ball rolling, but do it to a point where you're like not making everybody sacrifice around you.
Yeah.
You know, but we have a friend getting married and like, I stay up at night, like, how am I going to figure this out? Like, I'm going to this wedding. I'm going to be not gone. I'm going to be gone in the middle of the time I should be moving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? You need to do this for yourself.
Right.
You know, as much as I want to be there for him, I need to be there for me because that wedding's it's not like it's going to happen again next year. That's it. It's one wedding, you know, like And I don't want to have that regret in my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting to that point with my kids. My son's 5 and he's getting active. Like they were at Goldfish Swim School and stuff like that. And I just can't be there.
Yeah.
So I tell my daughter all the time, like I'm doing this now so I don't have to do it later.
Yeah.
So, and if I don't do it now, they'll be old, gone.
Yeah.
Right.
And there will be no pivot.
Right.
And
I did something yesterday. So yesterday was my wife's birthday and I was on the phone with you and you got the very tail end of my little meltdown.
Yeah. And I just kept telling you, I'm good, dude. I'll talk to you later. Because I knew it's like you needed to get off the phone.
I left work at 3:30 because I told my wife that I'm like, I'm going to leave work early. Let's go to dinner. It's your birthday. Let's go out, take the kids out. We'll go have a good time. So I'm like, I'm going to leave here at 3:30. So I got a lot of stuff done yesterday. A little before 3:30, we were working on something. As a side note, I have 3 employees for my accounting firm that all are on vacation in the same week. And then I have the employee for the property management company is on vacation, took 2 vacation days today and tomorrow. So yeah, a little stressful. So we're all kind of pulling overtime here, trying to like make sure everything gets done, right? And then add a federal holiday into the middle of the week, which complicates the shit out of payroll.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because now 2-day direct deposit that you typically would process on Wednesday has to be done Tuesday. And business owners never seem to understand that.
Guilty.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So exactly. So now I have a whole lot of clients that are not getting direct deposit for their employees on time Friday that either had to pay them on Monday or they're handwriting checks this week. So, is what it is. Everybody was cool with it, but we're trying to navigate all that, right? And then there's one particular payroll that we do every other Wednesday. No. It's a very complicated one. Now, it's not our most complicated one, which is why my main senior accountant took this week off, because every other week we have an extremely complicated payroll, and we know, like, we don't go on vacation that week. That's not like anytime we're like, hey, we're going to take Wednesday off. Is it that payroll week? No, we don't take that day off. So she strategically picked this week and figured like that one's less complicated. So we can handle it. So my dad was working on that payroll and he had a question. So at like 3:15, I'm trying to get an answer to that question. We had kind of an answer to it, or at least if I don't hear back, do it that way. Okay. So I leave at 3:30. From 3:30 until 4:30, my phone went fucking crazy. So I left here. I called you because I wanted to talk to you and just kind of put a bug in your ear about the US Open thing. Yeah. And also remind you, hey, submit your payroll, right? Because we're running shorthanded here. I don't want to end up not getting your payroll done. And at the time, it hadn't even hit me that it's a fucking federal holiday. That payroll's already late. Okay. So
yeah,
I'm also that business owner that doesn't realize fucking federal holidays in the
Let's be honest, payroll is your biggest expense. Yeah. And if you can just push it one more day,
it's so stupid.
It's so all mental. Yeah. It's like, oh, dude, I have one more deposit before the withdrawal comes out.
I'm like, I don't even want to look at it yet. Like, it makes any difference.
And this one wasn't that bad because usually at the end of the month, it's like, I'm trying not to do this because rent's coming out.
Yeah. So I pulled up in front of the house. I was still on a call with you. Amber and the kids were sitting on the porch waiting for me, and I'm sitting in a truck talking to you. I get out of the truck. I'm like, I'll be ready in a second. I have to do one thing. So I had to log in and do something for somebody, but I needed a computer. My laptop was at the office. So I had to fire up my old iMac that I probably haven't had on for 2 years. Okay. I'm like, I go outside to the porch. I'm like, Ann, what's the password to the iMac? She's like, what? So I'm trying to log on to the iMac. Now, none of my freaking username and passwords are saved. None of my favorites are in there. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I'm trying to get logged in.
URLs.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out. So I'm trying to get this thing done. Then I got another client text me like, hey, I can't get payroll to go through. And I'm like, so I'm trying to get that figured out. I'm trying to help her with her payroll. And I'm like, you're going to have to handwrite checks. And then in the meantime, one of my bigger clients is like, hey, can you check? He needed something out of his bank account balance or to check something. I'm like, yeah, let me log in. Well, I can't get it logged into his bank because I don't have his username and password saved on his computer. So now I'm trying to figure out how to log into Google Chrome so that I can get my username and passwords to come up. And then what else? Something else then my phone rang again. And then the person who's that complicated payroll finally called me back because to answer the question about the payroll. So I get that answer. I call my dad and I'm telling him, he's like, all right, that's what I was going to do. At this point, it's 4:25.
Your wife's looking at you.
Fucking pissed.
All right.
I'm like, you know what? And then Joe called. And I'm like, dude, I got to go. Just send it to my dad. He'll take care of it. I got to go.
I'm like, I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you later.
I hung up and I did something I very seldom do. I put my phone in do not disturb mode.
Yeah, good call.
And I didn't look at it again the rest of the night.
Look at that.
Yeah, you got to do it. I mean, it's tough. I'll have I'll call somebody when I'm at the cleaners. Like, I need to make a phone call. I'll call them. I have like a 15-minute drive home. They don't answer. Wouldn't you know it? They call. I'm making the left onto my street.
Yep.
And now I'm sitting in my car. My kids are on the front porch, and I'm like,
yep. Always.
Fuck. But it's part of being a business owner.
Part of the business, and every other day of the year, 364 days of the year, perfectly understood. June 19th is my wife's birthday. And I'm like, this is not going well. And then it was just a stressful day. The kids were all acting up. It was
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. We weren't getting political this episode. Trump's up 2 points.
Didn't he set that holiday? That's a new holiday.
Yeah, it is a new holiday, right?
This is the first year I got it off from my W-2.
It's federally observed.
It's now a federally observed holiday, right?
I worked my side gig, which was nice.
It's well-deserved, though.
I'm not minimizing the holiday.
Thanks,
it's a new... It's
it's always been celebrated.
Okay.
But it's a new federal holiday. I think 3 years. The last 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, it was like, I didn't know. I don't know. I was all confused.
It gave them one more day not to process the ERCs is what it did.
Yeah, that's what it did. So, yeah, we wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
This
is good news, folks.
This is good news-ish. We'll see if anything comes of it.
Don't hold your breath.
But there was an article online from I'm not going to say what the website is.
Bro. You better look it up.
I'm not going to say what the website is because they're always like, call
me Tuberville, dude. Remember that boy from Alabama making
I think it's Tuberville.
Tuberville was making 236%.
No, he wasn't that guy. That was a guy from New York.
Didn't he coach Auburn?
Tuberville wasn't.
Look it up. He was a big hitter. He was the high boy.
He was on that list.
He was definitely on that list.
From Alabama.
Where's that?
Freaking Bama. You killed a good old boy in southern Alabama.
I gotta find that now.
What a movie that was.
How long ago was that?
My Cousin Vinny? That was 30 years ago.
No, when we did that podcast.
Retired football coach.
When we did that podcast. Where's that?
Oh, it's long ago. That was 26 episodes ago.
I'm trying to look for that. I screenshotted
Go listen
that list.
Oh, this is killer air. This is killer listening material here.
Dude, our people love this.
Yeah, they love everybody just fact checking.
Yeah, this is great.
What are we looking for? Stock tips?
Oh, there's
the 23 hold on. I think I can just search Tuberville. It'll come up.
Jesus. I will tell you this though, next week's a debate. That ought to be good for television ratings.
I mean,
do you think we can get an advertisement on that?
I thought we were moderating it.
Let's do it.
They should let us moderate it.
I'm bringing a 30-pack.
Let's get Nate to do some reels and cuts of us asking questions
I want to know,
and them
answering it. Why can't they have somebody? Why does one of these news channels always have to be the moderator?
No, that was what the dude said during the Republican
You're
debates.
asking why media runs the world?
Yeah, that dude, that
media.
That gentleman asked that during the Republican debate. He was like, "Why do we not have Elon Musk?"
Succession.
Oh yeah,
they basically picked the president,
and they basically canceled the show because it was flying too close to the sun.
That was a great show.
Yeah, we love that show. There was a show also called Over There that HBO did about the war in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And it flew just a little too close to the sun.
Got itself canceled.
Ballers was a great show. Flew a little too close to the sun. Canceled. HBO's known for it. They're doing that. HBO's doing the Hard Knocks with the AFC North. So we'll get an inside look at the Steelers organization this year.
On how you go 9-8 every year.
9-9, baby.
I don't think that's going to happen this year.
What are they going to do?
I don't know.
I'm up in the air. They could either be like 7-win team.
Before the schedule came out, I take that back, because before the schedule came out, I thought they had a really good shot at having a really good year. Then the schedule came out. And
dude, I heard Russell Wilson committed
run.
himself to the game like no other.
I think we're going to go a run of losing the last.
Who's he going to throw to?
Ayuk?
George Pickens?
Brendan Ayuk?
Stop it.
That's the news.
George Pickens.
I saw him in the strip the other day, dude. He was at Woolies eating a fish sandwich.
Get out of time.
He was with Mike Tomlin. They looked like identical twins.
So there's this theory online that there's several connections of Tomlin being in California at the time.
That he was conceived?
That he was conceived. And then
oh shit.
There's a whole
he's
the father.
Really? He's the father.
He was on a recruiting trip in California at the time. Then he had a house in Reno, and Ayuk was living in Reno at the time.
Oh geez.
But he's not going to play for the Steelers.
Yeah, Kia wouldn't let that happen. Can't have your illegitimate love child living in the same neighborhood. That'd be crazy. Yeah, the thing about the Steelers is we're all going to watch,
I'll watch every game. I just do not think this is the team that is going to win a playoff game.
You don't think they're going to win they're not even going to win a playoff game, you don't think?
Do you think
No.
Here's
they
a question.
haven't won one in 7 years.
Do you think who wins a playoff game first, the Pirates or the Steelers?
The Pirates.
Yeah.
Come on.
They get one bat. They get one bat, Jerry. I'm telling you, Paul Skeens is going to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
Within the next 4 years. I'll
Well,
bet you your Corvette and my $20.
Get the fuck out of here.
My some of the national
Paul Skeens is going to win a playoff game for the Pirates.
Yeah, they some of the national baseball media are talking that like if the Pirates were to sneak in even this year, people don't want to play them because it's a 3-man rotation.
Tuberville only had a 17% gain last year.
On paper.
Man, who was the guy from Louisiana then?
Yeah, a crawfish guy.
Crawfish. Whatever.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Let's move on.
It doesn't matter.
All right, so listen. So Tommy Tuberville, Republican senator from Alabama, and Republican representative Claudia Tenney from New York wrote letters to the IRS asking for urgency in processing employee retention credit claims.
How many companies did they own, and how much ERC money are they entitled to?
That's true. That's a good point. So just as background, in case anybody's not paying attention and you live in a cave, the employee retention credit was a credit for employees that retained their employers that retained their employees during COVID that had certain qualifications. So you could qualify for it with drops in revenue, and then there were other various qualifications with supply chain issues and having to make changes to your business to comply with COVID shutdowns, etc.
But in rare form, you had to have 941 form showing that you paid your people.
Yes, you had to have payroll in order to qualify for it. The credit was substantial.
It's big.
And everybody that I know got text messages and emails and phone calls from scam companies saying, did you qualify? Did you get your employee retention credit?
You
qualify for $26,000 per employee. So there was a enormous amount of fraud. The fraud, from what I understand, there's fraud in different arenas here. So there's fraud in the fact that people that didn't qualify applied for it and got money or are attempting to get money that they weren't, or that there aren't, or they weren't actually entitled to. And then in addition to that, there is an enormous amount of fraud of people that actually were able to create new companies, create old tax returns, and then scam the IRS out of money that's just completely fake. And then to add insult to injury, a lot of those companies were actually just foreign entities that was all bullshit, that money just went overseas to Russia and everything else. So
it's always Russia.
Yeah. So there's an enormous amount of fraud. So the IRS froze the program at the end of 23. There are a ton of business owners that are still due this credit. And when the IRS froze the program, they said they were freezing the program. We're not accepting anything new as of right now. They didn't kill the program. Technically, the program still exists, but they aren't technically accepting any new applications for the credit. But if you had already applied for the credit, your credit's still coming. Don't worry. Yeah, bullshit. So here we are in June. I have people that applied for it in May of last year and have not gotten their money. And in conversations that I've had with the IRS, and now the people that I talk to at the IRS are basically call center people that have no fucking idea what I'm talking about half the time. Smoke detectors are chirping in the background. Half the time I have to explain to them the law that they are trying to explain to me. So, it's a grain of sand. But the impression that I got from this guy was they're basically holding everything. And if you want it, you have to put up a fight. And there's probably an audit letter coming right after you get your money. That's the impression I got. So I'm like, how much do we want to push these? Anyway, so there's this article that came out. The article says businesses are still waiting 4 years later for new employee retention credits promised through pandemic era relief program, according to Tommy Tuberville, Claudia Tenney, who wrote letters to the IRS asking for urgency. Quote, while the public health concerns of the pandemic have largely ended, for many hard-hit industries and businesses, the economic aftermath has not only persisted, but grown worse, severely delaying and regressing the anticipated economic recovery that American businesses were hoping for once COVID-19 abated. Tenney wrote in a letter dated last week. So the IRS released a press release several months ago, said that they had like 1.2 million outstanding claims.
We're processing 8 a week.
150 a week.
Yeah.
So we did the math, and they should catch up sometime in the next 22 years.
By the third time, just in time for the open in 2034.
Yeah. So it's outrageous. The IRS is basically saying that we can't pay these out because there's just so much fraud.
Well, my proposal was let's just pay the money out and pay it towards the EIDL loan money.
Yeah.
That makes too much sense. Get the SBA involved.
Joe.
Hammer these things out and say now your new balance is $86,000.
So Tenney responded to the IRS and saying that it's hard to do this because of all the fraud. Tenney wrote that keeping fraudulent claims from being paid while making sure that legitimate claims are paid in a timely manner are not mutually exclusive objectives. Basically saying you can do them both. Just pay them out. So it's
pay them out and then fact check them later.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing that they did
with
for all of
the PPP. They said, if you got this money and it was fraudulent, we're giving you a chance.
Yeah,
pay it back or we're coming for you.
And there's even a program for that for the ERC. And I went to a tax seminar. So this was probably end of 22. Yeah, end of 22. No. It was end of 23 because it was for the tax update for the 23 tax year. And they had announced that the IRS was coming up with a voluntary program to give the money back. That if you are a business owner and you feel like you have the money or you were given the money and you don't think you should have, we are giving you the opportunity to give it back, no questions asked.
That dude should have drove his McLaren to their office and tossed them the keys.
Yeah. You can give it back. Just tell us.
I bought this by accident.
Yeah, sorry. But that was for the ERC. So I don't know.
So turn in your money, or what are we?
I don't know.
What's the gist here?
I don't know. The gist of it is, if you're still waiting for a claim, my suggestion would be to call the IRS and ask what the hell's going on.
Yeah, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
The squeaky wheel's going to get the oil.
Be prepared to get audited.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're legit and you actually qualified for it, then it's probably worth the fight and let them audit it. You know, it's, I don't know. The way I looked at it, and again, this is not tax advice. You need to talk to your own tax preparer and weigh the consequences of your own situation.
Prison.
Yeah. But
Verse.
the maximum credit for this,
Living.
because you could have, in order to qualify this credit, you qualified for this credit up to 500 employees.
Oh.
This isn't a small business credit.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a lot of employees.
Yes.
$26,000 per employee, 500 employees. Okay. So the biggest credit, so the maximum credit is $10 million.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay. So if you're a small business and you're waiting for $68,000 or whatever,
Could be
chances are
You need it.
you need it. And chances are the IRS is not too worried about your $68,000.
Right. And you did what was right. The chances are at that scale.
Yeah.
So call, you're saying.
I would say call. But talk to your accountant and actually discuss the rules, and are you actually qualified, and are we ready to have this fight with the IRS if the fight were to come? Do we want to have this fight? If you were called by some random company in some other state trying to tell you that you qualified, and then they said,
well, those are the people that are getting fucked because they took their money up front. Those companies took their money. So people might be entitled to $100,000. And they took 20%, so they paid $20,000 for $100,000, and they're not seeing.
They're not even seeing it. Exactly.
So
yeah. So
stick with a local accountant, someone you can kick their door down and just start bitching.
Well, and that's the whole thing. And here's the other thing too, and that's what I told my clients, like, because I had so many clients, like, hey, this company called me, should I use them? Well, let me ask you something. Who are you going to call when the IRS? Well, first of all, yeah. So that 20% didn't cover anything except. Yeah, you qualify.
Right.
And
call your accountant.
This is what we think you qualify for. And they were basically just filling out a spreadsheet. Like, they would make me give them all their payroll information, their numbers, and then they would calculate the credit and give it back to me, and then I had to amend all the returns to get them the credit. I'm like, what the fuck you paying them for? I can just do all of that.
Yeah.
You know? But then the big question was, Joe, a year and a half or 2 years from now, when the IRS actually catches up with this stuff, and you get a letter that they want proof that you qualified for this credit, and that little rinky-dink company that popped up just to rip everybody off, they're gone, man. Yeah. Who are you going to call?
You might not be able to call anybody. You're going to call an accountant, but the accountant might not be able to help you.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, because the accountant's going to be like, dude, you didn't qualify for this. You're going to have to give this all back.
Yikes.
And now that, $400,000 credit that they took $100,000 of it
is a debit.
You got to pay $400 back plus penalties and interest.
Boys.
Plus penalties and interest because you defrauded the IRS.
Ugh.
Because some random company in Florida told you that your small business qualified for all this credit. Like,
a lot of fraud coming out of Florida.
It's bad.
Always Florida.
It's bad. It's always Florida.
Florida.
But yeah, so in the ERC world, it looks like maybe it's back in the news.
Yeah, it's back in the tickle in it's election year. Maybe it'll come out.
I don't know.
Maybe it'll come out in the debates. Maybe they'll talk about it in the debates next week.
Maybe. It depends.
Great way to sway my vote.
It depends.
Look, man, I'm not going to buy your...
Do you think Trump's waiting for any ERC money?
Yeah, right.
If Trump's waiting for ERC money, as soon as he gets elected, he's going to be like, send it all out.
And the funny thing I think is, like, if it could sway the way I vote, if they were like, I don't care what this foreign war is going on. The first thing I'm going to do is release the ERC money. I'm like, that's my guy right there. You just bought a vote for $80,000.
We're going to release all the ERC money, but we're going to take 50% of it and send it to the Ukraine.
I'd take it still. A bird in the hand's worth two in the bush, right? Especially from the IRS. It might be worth three. It might be worth three in the bush. All right, boys. Well, I think we checked all the boxes.
It's hot out there. It's
humid. Hot, humid, and hazy. The 3H
Stay cool.
day.
Yeah. Stay cool.
Yeah. Even the devil's sweating.
Oh.
Ooh.
So, thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. Find and follow us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Like and subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. You can join us socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Yes, we still call it Twitter. You can email the show at info@betweentwobridgespodcast.com. Until next time, make it till you rake it.